Hey, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. This video is primarily focused at beginners and intermediate players, or low intermediate players. But those of you that are higher ranked players, I think you're going to get something out of this, because the number one issue that I deal with when it comes to teaching students, 8-ball in particular, is pattern play. So today I'm going to give you about 10 basic patterns to look for on an 8-ball game. And if you learn these patterns, it's going to solve a lot of your problems. Not all of them, but a great deal of them. To make the most out of this video, there are 3 shots you should have in your game. Shot number 1 is a stop shot. So you're making the cue ball stop in place. If you need to shoot a follow shot, we're going to hit the cue ball above center. Level cue, you're going to hit it higher than you probably feel you should, because people have been teaching you to shoot this with one tip above the center of the ball, which is absolutely wrong. That is a draw shot, and that just simply means when you play the shot, you're bringing the cue ball back in a straight line to get position on a ball that, say, is here on the rail. There is one last shot that you should also have in mind, and it is called a stun shot. What is a stun shot? A stun shot is just like a stop shot, but we have an angle. So instead of our cue ball stopping, because we can't make it stop unless we hit it straight on, our cue ball is going to move along the contact line this way as we make the shot. So for each of these, we're going to be talking about 3-ball patterns. Why 3 balls? Because this is the way we play position and pool. And let's take a look at why. If I play this 7-ball and I shoot a perfect stop shot, and then I play the 2-ball and I shoot another stop shot, we're going to jack up this time so we can stop the ball. There's more of a stun shot. Now I have position on the 8. What if we had a similar layout? And our layout looked like this. So this time, we played the 7-ball, but instead of shooting a perfect stop shot, we drew it back just a little. Now, even though this could still be cut in, it doesn't put us on the 8-ball. This is precisely why we're always 3 shots ahead. If I'm playing for position on that 6, guess what? All of this makes that 6-ball makeable. Anywhere in here makes it makeable. But none of these areas that make the 6-ball makeable allow me to get on the 8-ball in any simple way. So here we have a pattern which is the worst nightmare for an amateur player. A pattern that can be run different ways. Sometimes you can only run a pattern one way. That's ideal for an amateur player, because you don't have to think about it. You're just going to shoot what you can shoot. But the 6-ball is makeable here. The problem with the 6-ball is it doesn't put us on anything else, because our cue ball is going to be going here. And unless we do something fancy, it's going to be very difficult to get on the 5. The 5-ball could be played first. But if we shoot the 5-ball, we can come out here and get on the 6. I can even come back here and get on the 3. But I have to do special things to make that happen. If I play the 3-ball first and shoot a follow shot, put myself all the way up against that rail, then it's going to be relatively easy for me to make the 5 and get on the 6 with one downside. And the downside looks like this. If I shoot a nice follow shot and I come up and I'm not totally against the rail, but if I get totally straight with this 5-ball, guess how difficult it is to get on the 6-ball. Can't shoot a follow shot, I scratch. Can't shoot a draw shot, I run into the 10. But because I got myself on this side of the 5-ball, watch what happens with just a simple follow shot. I bounce out and I have position on the 6-ball, and the position on the 6-ball allows me to get on the 8-ball. Now, if you have a situation where balls are close to the rail, you need to make sure that you have a pattern that is going to allow you to get to those balls. This is a run killer. If you're not playing to get yourself positioned on that 3-ball, guess what? You're never going to run out, because only about 8% of the table puts you on this 3 ball, where about 75% of the table puts you on the 6 ball. So when you're thinking about your patterns, look for problems like this, balls that are on the rail. You hear it in a lot of our videos. Take care of your problem shots first. Let's look at something else. Another major mistake that amateur players make. They shoot pocket hangers when they should use them as insurance shots. Now, I've mentioned this in other videos recently, that pocket hangers should not be thought of as blocking the pocket. If you think of yourself as blocking that pocket from that 9 ball and you're leaving that ball there as a result, you're making a mistake. That 5 ball is a good insurance shot. So what's a good insurance shot? It means if I play this 3 ball and I try to get on the 6, let's say I play this, you're probably not going to be shooting a lot of shots with English, but let's say I put high left-hand English on that shot and I ended up with this for the 6 ball. Now I have the 5 ball there, where a lot of players think in their fantasy world, they're going to play this ball, they're going to stop here, get on the 6, and they're going to have the 8 here. But that's not what happens with most intermediate players. You're out of position very often. If you don't believe me, next time you play 8 ball and you're not getting position on the shot that you thought you were going to get position on, spin around like that 3 times. You're going to be very dizzy after about 4 shots, because most of the time players are out of position. Well, the best cure for being out of position is to have an insurance shot. Now, in this case, it does not mean that shooting that 5 ball is going to automatically help you get on this 6, because position from hangers is also very difficult. But at least you're still shooting. And most of you watching this video are going to be playing people that cannot run 6 balls if their life depended on it. So if you just get your 5 off the table or your 6 off the table and then miss after that, you're probably okay. You have another inning or 2 coming along. This is one of my favorite situations to talk about. We are straight in on the 6 ball. We have these balls that are parallel to each other on the long rail. Way, way, way too many intermediate and low intermediate players are going to shoot that 6 ball, which is connected to nothing. When I say connected, I mean you have to do something good to get on the 5 or on the 7. But guess what? The 5, with a little stun shot, is connected to the 7. Now I'm going to shoot a little bit of draw on this. But if you don't have this shot in your game, you're still not in bad shape. All right, so I drew it back just a little bit. Now I can tap into 6 and manage to stay on the 8 ball. It's a wrap, right? So here is a very similar but different pattern. Here we have our 7 and our 5 that are on the rail. We're straight in on the 6. We know better than to shoot the 6, but do we shoot the 5 first and then the 7, or the 7 and then the 5? Well, if you take a look at these balls, if I shoot the 5 and then the 7, I've got to shoot a draw shot on the 6. Actually, a short draw shot, which is more difficult for a lot of the bangers out there, the people that think they have a draw shot, can't draw it back 12 inches and stop the ball. So this is a pattern that allows you to make a mistake and still be good on the 6 ball, and that's what we want. We want runs that are most likely, now I'm jacked up because I have to shoot over this 5, but we want runs that allow us to be out without having to do a lot of things. So this is going to be a little stun shot, actually a little tiny bit of draw, which again, that player that we talked about doesn't have that in his game. He can shoot a draw shot because he slams the hell out of it, but he doesn't have the touch to draw it back a little bit. And even if he didn't, he'd still have nice position on that 6 ball, which gives him nice position on that 8 ball. You can be a banger and actually get balls off the table. As we're talking about it, it's happening. Let's look at something else. Sometimes it's not so easy to identify three-ball patterns. That's why you want to practice shooting three-ball patterns. Throw three balls on the table, take ball in hand, try to shoot them off in order that's going to make it work with the least amount of effort. Those of you that are more advanced, try to find a pattern that you would give an APA 2 or 3 during a timeout, because that's the pattern that most likely you should be shooting. So here we have the 5, the 6, the 2 and the 5 are makeable. The 6, we're not even going to count that as makeable. But if we shoot the 5 ball first and then the 2 ball with a perfect stop shot and then the 6, guess what? That's a perfect 3-ball pattern, right? Stop shot, 6 ball, side pocket, wrong pattern. Why? Because even though we're playing 3-ball patterns, where is our 8 ball? Our 8 ball is here. How do we get on the 8 if we're shooting the 6? You have to, once again, do something good. So where this is not your favorite shot, what you want to do is shoot the 2 ball first with the stop shot. Now you shoot the 6 ball, and you don't even have to shoot a stop shot. You can roll this one in. I'm going to actually bounce off the rail a little bit, because this is a skill that you guys really should pick up, is using the rail to get position. And now we're virtually straight, but not totally straight on the 5 ball, which is good because we don't need to shoot a stop shot. And we're very close to the rail, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because we can still get our bridge hand down on the table. This would be bad. This is a non-event. Notice by just changing the order a little bit, we are automatically on the 8 ball. Doesn't take a lot of thought. Very easy to identify the pattern if you give it some thought. And we are out. So keep that in mind. Just because you see the pattern, you can add a ball. We still need to make the 8. And going this way at the end of that 4 ball, that 3 ball run, does not help us get on the 8 ball. So think it through a little bit. Here's an interesting situation that players get wrong all the time. We have 2 balls on the short rail. There usually is only one answer to this, and that is get position on a shot before these balls that allows you to get relatively straight. You don't want to be here, because going there and then there makes it very difficult to go back up table, but you want to be close to straight on this 7 ball, so when you play it, your cue ball is out here somewhere, so you can play the 2 and actually have an opportunity to make another ball. So there's a couple things that can happen here. If we are totally straight on this 5 ball, we need to be very delicate about our position on the 7 ball. This is why we practice little simple shots like follow shots, because a lot of people are running into that 4 ball or scratching in this pocket. But we need to be here or pretty close to here in order to make this work. So we got ourselves kind of between the balls like we showed earlier, and we're going to shoot a stop shot here, but we want to bounce a little bit, just a little bit, and I'll show you why in a second. We need to put ourselves in a position where we can play that 6 ball. And we got way straight on this. So I am in a situation now where if I shoot a follow shot, I scratch, and if I shoot a draw shot, guess what happens? I scratch. Yes, that's it. But we are fortunate. Our 6 ball is sitting in the pocket, in the side pocket. So we give ourselves a slight angle. We have a thin cut. We have a target-rich 8. And hopefully you play this with a thin cut that sends the trajectory of the cue ball away from that line with the 8 ball. So the examples we give you are just that. They're examples. People crack me up. I have guys that call fouls on instructional videos. Oh, you fouled. You hit that 10 ball by mistake. Okay. Did you learn anything, or did you only watch the video to wait for somebody to foul? You're silly. Forget about learning this game. I suggest checkers. often, not all the time, but often, the 3-ball pattern that you're looking for is a triangle. Let's find it here. You see how these balls are in this position? Now you might be thinking, that never happens to me when I'm playing 8-ball where the balls are in a perfect triangle. Well, it does happen, but what happened is you shot one of these balls off in previous shots, not allowing you to have this triangle. Why does it seem that the elite player has so many easy shots? Stop shot, stop shot, stop shot, they're out. Because they know to leave these balls for later in the game when they can run out with this triangle. So if I saw this in my head while I'm in the middle of play, I already know that the 7-ball is my key ball, the ball we shoot before the 8, that the 5-ball, if I get from the right position, it stops me. A stop shot here puts me on the 7, which is automatically puts me on the 8. I don't have to be good at anything, really, to run out from here. Stop, 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 we're out because we found a triangle. If you can find these triangles, it will help you run out. Again, it's not automatic, but very often this is the case. So, how do we get out from here? What is our 3-ball pattern? 6-ball. 7-ball. No. If we shoot our 7, we're not connected to the 5. We've got to do something good, right, to get on it. But we can shoot a stun shot on the 5, and we are on the 7 all day and night. We just roll this in. Do not reach like I just did. Get the bridge, please. And we are automatically on the 8. So identify those triangles, and you will have an easier time with a lot of your runouts because they are all over the table. And when you can identify them, you're going to have more runs. Let's look at some more. We know that that 7 is a good key ball that puts us on the 8, right? What happens here if we shoot with this as being our first triangle? So this is our first triangle. This is our second triangle. Guess what our third triangle is? These 3. So let's take a look at what happens here. If I shoot a little stop shot here, and I use the 3 to get to the 7, not the 7 to get to the 2, but the 3 to get to the 7 or the 2. Now, I want to play the 2 next, right? Because the 7 is my key ball. So now I play the 2. I drew back a little bit, so I'm going to actually recover here. Don't have to do this if you play better position than I did on that shot. And now, guess what? I can roll in the 7, and I'm all over the 8-ball. Yes, Dave, even you can make this shot on a good day. You know what's not a triangle? This. If you give this as the last 3 shots before the 8-ball to the average player, average league night player, I'm sorry, they're probably not going to run these. I don't care where you want to put the 8-ball. They're probably not going to run these. If you give them something that looks like this, there's a very good chance they're out. That's the difference. Creating that triangle helps people get out. If you don't have the triangle, you can still get out, but you might have to do a little bit more. And again, don't obsess over the triangles, okay? But do look for them before you start getting out of line on things, all right? Which brings us to something else. Parallel balls, we talked about a little bit. Let's talk about run killers. Run killers are just as important as finding patterns. This, for most players, is a run killer. I don't care where you put the 8-ball. Not sure where I actually did put it. I don't care where you put the 8-ball, but if you leave this as the last 2 shots to get on the 8, many players are going to be stuck. Put those balls even closer to the rail, definitely run killers. If you don't believe me, go and put 2 balls on the rail, play position from one to the other. I know there's a very popular drill that you guys see on YouTube. It's from a professional player, one of my favorite players, in fact. And he does this drill that's very similar to this. And people call me all the time. They're like, I'm trying to do such and such a drill, and I can't get through the first 2 shots. Of course not. It is a series of 2 of the most difficult shots in pool, repeated over and over again. That's why you can't get out. You're not supposed to be able to get out any more than you're supposed to jump from the circle and dunk a basketball. It's outside of your skill set right now, but it's something that you can work on. Again, that's a run killer. Let's look at another run killer. Balls that are on the short rail. We are solids here. We're on the 2 ball. Our opponent is on the stripes. Not only can we not hit the 2 without kicking it off of somewhere, which is what a lot of you are going to do. You're going to try to shoot a kick shot that you never made before. You're going to do all kinds of measurements and parallel shifts, right, to hit this ball. Your first thought is a jump shot. If I only had a jump shot, guess what? The guys that have the best jump shots on the planet are not shooting this 2 ball with a jump shot. It's silly. We got to get airborne quick, we got to come down quick, and we got to cut it into a pocket or we're going to lose. But if I had $1 for every time I did this to a player and it won the game for me, I'd have about $10. Anyway, this is what we do. We're on the solids, remember. Our opponent has a ball on the short rail. We are going to give up ball in hand. So what do? We send his ball to the rail at the opposite end of the table. All right? Takes a lot of touch to get it even this close to the rail. It's not even on the rail. Here's another one for you to set up. Put the 8 ball there near the middle of the table. Take ball in hand, because he's going to get ball in hand, on the 14 or the 11, and try to run these 3 balls. Most of the players you're playing are not out from here. The out here is very complex. So if you don't have anything else, you could put one of their balls on the short rail, one on the long rail at the other end, and watch them try to get there. Every now and then, somebody's going to get there. Some advanced players are going to get there more often than not. But most of the people that you're playing probably are not going to get there. This is a run killer. Most common run killer, 3 ball pattern, is clusters. Here I'm on the solids. If I shoot the 5 ball with a follow shot, a stop shot, I'm here. I can make the 2 in the side all day and night, but I don't break up the cluster. This one is very simple, guys. You have to shoot the 2 ball first, and you want to break up the cluster. So what do we do here? We only need to tap it in. I know you don't like this side pocket shot. Well, get over it, because you have to have that shot in your game or you're never going to win games. So now I have 2 balls that are makeable, the 6 and the 5. I'm going to cut the 6 in. And remember, when you break up your clusters, you're not going to have the exact same situation as me. So you will shoot these differently than maybe I'm shooting them now. But I'm out only because I shot that ball first. If you shoot this one first and then think you're going to break up the cluster after that, you're making a big mistake. Whether you have ball in hand or it's sitting there in front of you and you have a run killer, you better fix your run killer or you're dead. Let's look at another one. Where's your run killer? It's right here. A lot of you have seen videos where a guy shoots a ball and it goes through the cushion and into the side pocket because he slams the hell out of it. Well, I got bad news. That ball better be halfway into that pocket to shoot it through this edge of the rail. And I am really sick and tired of videos that show you guys shots that, number one, you're not going to be able to execute, that took him 10 tries to execute, and when it comes up in the game, you're not even going to be remembering it. A lot of YouTube shorts are like that. They're shots that you will never see ever, and they're teaching you how to get out of a situation that you won't see in 1,000 games of pool. But in the meantime, this is one that happens often, where your run killer is a ball that is so close to the side that you can't play it down table because you'll scratch, and you can't play it this way because very often you'll hit the edge of the pocket. So how do you solve this problem? You don't come here and try to blast it through the rail, because that doesn't happen in the real world. Have you seen one pro ever do that? You shoot a follow shot, get your cue ball down table, and now you can shoot a carom shot off the 14. Oh, that's kind of complicated, Brian. No. Instead of aiming for here and putting it in the pocket, I'm aiming slightly to the left so that I nudge the 14 ball. And this is very low speed, guys. Very low speed. I get it into a spot where it is very makeable. Now, our 8 ball is in a tough spot for most beginner players, but again, in your situation, your 8 ball could be anywhere. It could be here, it could be there, it could be a pocket hanger for all you know. So understand that that little carom shot, your ball off of your ball to get it out of a bad situation, is something that you need to have in the bag. And let's look at one more. Now what this video is missing is some of your more advanced position plays, like a ball rolling down the table that you have to make and then get position on the 8 ball. We have videos on multi-rail position play, but the video you just watched should help you understand some of the basics around simple position play before you get into these multi-rail shots. So make sure you put in your time, review the shots that you saw today, and then look at those shots. I'm producing video after video on 8 ball position play, 8 ball strategy. So over the last few weeks, you probably saw a couple of them. This one is a prerequisite to all the others. I just happened to have made it last. So have a great day. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit me in the comments.